Hi, everybody. Welcome into today's show here on JTV. This week, season 26 of high school football on JTV.
Woo!
We have made it.
We did it.
Through all these golf highlights we've been showing you over the summer. We are back.
Finally made it to the start of the football season. And like I said, this is kind of the start of the major sports season for us because it transitions into basketball, all that good stuff. So, but right now, we have football, man. We have high school football. And we're going to be live in Parma.
That's right. From the metropolis.
That's right.
Of Parma. That's Adam. I'm David. Thank you, the Insurance Circle Agency. Real quick here, a couple other high school sports. Boys soccer, Columbia Central having a good start to the year. They lead the Cascades right now at 5-2. And speaking of Western, they're undefeated. 4-0 and 2 ties. Earlier this week, they tied 2-2 against Plymouth Christian Academy. They were down 2-0, scored 2 goals quick in the second half to come back and tie and stay undefeated. So shout out to Western and Columbia Soccer. We've got photos from soccer and volleyball and all the other sports that have started too on our website at jtv.tv. And while you're on our website, subscribe because each week you'll get the newsletter with all the football galleries and the scores and everything that's been happening with your school. So subscribe to JTV Sports for
$100, and it goes straight to Adam's bank account.
That's
okay, no,
not
it's
at all
free. It's free, but I would let if anybody wants to donate to me, I'm just saying.
Still feel free.
Yeah.
Coming up on the show today, we've got a great guest joining us next.
I'm excited for sure.
Southeast Michigan sports writer and historian Doug Donnelly, also the current editor and writer for the Blissfield Advance newspaper, to talk his new magazine, Overtime Plus, coming up next. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. That's Adam. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. Any of your insurance needs, call Dave Rice, myinsuranccircle.com. Happy to welcome to the show now, currently the writer for the Blissfield Advance newspaper, over 30 years as a sports writer and historian for Southeast Michigan, and has just came out with a high school football magazine, Overtime Plus, a magazine previewing this upcoming 2025 season. Over 50 teams included, from Cascades, 8-man teams, and so many more, available for purchase across Southeast Michigan at your local Lightning Quick. Doug, good to talk to you. I know I've seen you around at, I'm sure, quite a few postseason and other football games. So good to finally talk to you. Looking forward to this season.
Yeah, for sure. The season's coming fast, and the magazine just kind of made it that much more exciting for me this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, before we dive into some of these teams here, how's your summer been so far? I know I'm excited to get back to Friday Night Lights this week, and then tell us a little bit about your background and some of the work you've done over the years.
Yeah, so I'm currently the editor and publisher of the Advance in Blissfield, and like you said, 30 years or so in newspapers and helping out teams and conferences and with statistics and things like that. It's kind of always been my passion. I love doing it, and I like to keep track of statistics and box scores and things like that, because it seems to be a kind of a dying art these days that you can't just pick up your local newspaper anymore and find all the box scores and stuff from like last night's game. So I've kind of made it my mission to assemble as many of those as I can, and getting to know coaches and things like that. So this magazine is kind of came out of all of that. Like I've worked for the Monroe News before. I worked for the Daily Telegram in Adrian, but kind of found my home right now in Blissfield, and things are going great. And this magazine, our owner of our company asked, do you have any kind of projects that you're interested in? And the first thing I thought of was this football magazine. So he gave me the green light, and here we are.
Yeah. So tell us where we can. I know I mentioned local lightning quick stores, but tell us a little bit where exactly you can find those and what you'll be able to find in the magazine.
Yeah, so the magazine is in I think it's 33 stores right now in of Lightning Quick, and they're all the way from US 23 exit 5 to Coldwater, Sturgis. The magazine I took it myself and delivered them the other day to Camden and Reading and Cub Lake and Hanover and Jonesville. Yeah, I kind of hit all the small towns, and there seems like there's a Lightning Quick everywhere. Fortunately, because that's the main distribution method. We also have it at a few other stores. It's now available in a couple grocery stores in Hudson and Pittsburgh, or Hudson and Hillsdale, as well as our office in Blissfield and the Tecumseh Herald office as well. So it's out there. It's making its rounds. I'm getting lots of feedback from people, and which is all positive. And so I just want to, I want as many people to get their hands on it as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive a little bit into a few specific teams here. Let's start with some of the more recent news from this last weekend. East Jackson, I know an original report came out that they were canceling the whole season. That's not the case for the viewers who maybe want a clarification on that. Most of their games, only playing 3 games this year from what we've heard. And it's unfortunate news, obviously, for EJ and their school and their community. They have a first-year head coach coming in, Chad Duffing. He was helping out at Manchester before. His kids went there as well, and a whole new staff. So unfortunate with their lower numbers. So that'll be interesting to see what comes out of their 3 games expected for this season.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate case. I think from what my understanding was they expected to have about 22, 24 kids come out for football this year. And when fall practice started, that number had dropped a little bit. And then there's only like 1 senior on the team and only 4 juniors. And it's something they knew was coming. Like they could see this. I talked to the athletic director, Joe Niehaus, a couple weeks ago after this announcement was made. And he said, for the last couple of years with these 2 small classes there's just not many kids playing football, that they, kind of the writing was on the wall a couple of years ago that at some point this was going to catch up to them. And sure enough, here we are. But on the plus side, I do think that they're going to be okay for the future. Joe said their freshman and sophomore numbers were pretty high. They have a middle school program. There's more kids than ever are involved in the youth program. So I think this is just a 1-year thing. I don't think this is anything to kind of worry about long term. But yeah, they're going to cancel all of their varsity games except for weeks 1 and 3, and hopefully week 9 they'll pick up an opponent as well. So they're going to have a limited varsity season, but I think with having so many underclassmen playing at a JV level, it will help them be competitive as the future gets here.
Yeah, and because of except for those weeks 1 and 3, and then hopefully 9, a few, obviously the other Cascade schools had to fill a game. Looking at the schedule today, Leslie replaced East Jackson on their schedule with Millington, another D7 school. Really good program. They played Lumen in the semifinals a couple of years ago. I'm really interested in that Week 8 game for Millington to come down to Leslie. So 2 really good teams. And obviously Leslie, I don't think going into last season, everybody would have picked them to win the Cascades, and other than Lumen, be the last team from the Jackson area. So I'm excited to watch Leslie again this year.
Absolutely. I mean, Leslie, sort of came out of nowhere, I guess, last year, but their quarterback, Joel Cranmore, he's actually featured in the magazine. He's on the cover as well. Had a tremendous sophomore season for Leslie and got them into the Cascades championship game and a victory there. And they went all the way into the playoffs until they lost in the regional final to Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central, who reached the state championship game. So That matchup with Billington, that's outstanding. I mean, for both those teams to get to play that kind of caliber of a game in week 8 to kind of get tuned up, because I would guess that Leslie has a pretty good shot to be back in the Cascades Conference Championship game. So you're talking about getting to week 8 and having to play a non-league game with Millington, and then come back in week 9 and play in the conference championship game. That's not going to be an easy task.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And then I know JTV covers more Jackson County. I know we also, touch Addison, Leslie, Manchester as well. But any teams from the Huron League or anything in the Lenawee area, any teams that you have circled this year that you're looking forward to seeing how they do?
I really think Hudson in Division 8 this year, they went down. They won the Division 8 state championship a couple years ago. They've been Division 7, I think, for 2 years in a row. This year they're back to Division 8, and they have 9 starters returning on both sides of the ball, an all-state running back, their entire offensive line, a returning quarterback. Their defense should be outstanding. I see no reason why Hudson shouldn't make a march to Ford Field. Honestly, I mean they're going to be that good. But they have an interesting matchup this week with Fowler, and then kind of waiting in the wings for them, I think, is probably a matchup somewhere along the line with Reading. If both teams get that far, Reading's been one of those teams, historically strong football program. Coach Bailey does an amazing job there at Reading. They won those back-to-back state championships, but the last 2 years they've been just hit hard by injuries. They've had last year they had a kid break his leg. I think it was during the scrimmage. They had a kid have an appendicitis during the middle of the season and missed the rest of the year. I mean, just very unfortunate things. And if they're healthy, I think Reading could give Hudson a battle in this part of the state in Division 8. And who knows what's going to happen by the time the year plays out. But I think that both those teams are very intriguing to me.
And speaking of injuries, one kind of thing that we followed this whole last year was Michigan Center, who dealt with a lot of injuries towards the end of the year, and they were looking really good. What's your outlook on Michigan Center this year going into this season?
Yeah, I mean, they were so close last year. I think they lost to Leslie like 33-31, and then they lost to Hanover Horton 21-20. And of course, those were the two teams that played in the conference championship game. And here Michigan Center, they had 2 losses to those two teams by a total of 3 points. So they were so close last year. And I think with Hayden Hinkle and the people coming back from the injuries, they should be much improved. And they're one of those teams that I think they won 4-5 last year. They're one of those teams that could easily go 7-2, 8-1. And it makes it look like a huge turnaround when in reality it was injuries is what caused last year's kind of sub 500 season.
And I know we just mentioned Reading there a minute ago, and Coach Bailey has done a great job with that program. But Reading, kind of segging into my next team I was going to mention here, Springport. Obviously, they're conference rivals. Reading beat Springport in the second round of the playoffs, district final last year. I was at that game. Really close ending. I probably had a different opinion myself of how the clock management at the end, if you're Springport. But Springport was another team that they had struggled for so long before they bring in Coach Ben Pack, who did a great job at Manchester and other schools in previous years. But Springport was another team with Leslie that I'm really excited to see, and they have most of their guys back this year too.
Yes, and they scrimmaged last week with I believe Manchester, Adrian Madison, Jonesville, and Summerfield. And I heard from multiple people that Springport looked outstanding in the scrimmage. So they're definitely a team to look out for this season in the conference.
Do you see Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central getting back that deep into the postseason? Obviously, I know we just talked about them. They pretty much routed Leslie by a big score in the regional final. And then they made the state final. But what's your outlook on Monroe St. Mary?
They're going to be just as good as they were last year. I see no reason why they shouldn't make a trip or make at least a challenge for Ford Field. Their defense should be amazing. The Monroe County Region Player of the Year is back. The guy who led the team in tackles is back. Their offense is missing a few pieces. They had an all-state running back a year ago and a quarterback that was remarkably efficient. I think he threw 24 passes all season, and 13 of them were for touchdowns. Because they're just a solid run team so often. But they have a lot of the pieces back, and they're going to make a challenge at least for Ford Field, I would say. Looking at that area, Division 7, Clinton, they're a Division 7 team that should be pretty good. That's who St. Mary's opens the season with Thursday night at Adrian College. That's going to be a good test for Clinton. And later on the season, you never know how the playoff pairings are going to shake out. But Ottawa Lake Whiteford is in Division 7 this year, and they're looking to have a really strong season. I think Monroe, St. Mary Catholic Central, and Whiteford could end up seeing each other early in the playoffs.
And, speaking of teams going to Ford Field, it seems like in this area, you can always kind of count on Lumen Christi having a really good shot at getting to Ford Field. And I think we've talked in years prior about maybe this isn't the team that's going to do it. And then they end up getting there and end up potentially winning the whole thing. What do you think about this Lumen Christi team? We know there's a lot of guys that they have to replace. What do you think about this Lumen Christi team going into the season?
Yeah, first of all, I think what jumps right out at you is the schedule. They start out with the defending state champion from Illinois. Then they play a defending state champion in Pontiac Notre Dame Prep. And in week 3, they have Grand Rapids CC, Catholic Central, who played in the state semifinals last year. So, no matter who they have coming back or if they have their whole team coming back, playing 3 teams like that to start the season is a kind of a monumental task for anybody. They could start 0-3, and yet by the end of the season, they could still be a state title contender. So in Division 6. So, they don't have a lot of names back. They lost Kidale Williams. They're Mr. Everything tailback last year. But there's a few people back. They have only one offensive lineman's back from last year. Of course, they like to run the ball. So it might look like a struggle for them early in the season, but Coach Brogan does an amazing job year after year, and I gotta believe there's plenty of talent waiting in the wings there at Lumen Christi.
And do you think that strength of schedule almost kind of helps them? Because obviously we know about getting into the playoffs with the strength of schedule and everything like that, and also kind of trial by fire a little bit. And it seems like Lumen Christi also is one of those teams that consistently gets hot at the end of the year once they get through that really tough. Because I feel like David? It was last year or 2 years ago that they started off 0-3 or something.
2 years ago, they started 0-3. And then they still ended up winning it all.
Yeah, so do you think that kind of almost helps them a little bit, having this strength of schedule to start off the year to kind of almost glide into the playoffs after that?
It absolutely helps them, and you to beat the best, you got to play the best, right? And they're one of those teams that they never shy away from anybody, and their schedules obviously shows that year after year. So it might take some time for them to get their legs under them, but Lumen Christi is going to be Lumen Christi no matter what, I think.
Yeah, and Adam made a good point there about the strength of schedule. That's the new word the last few years of how they've decided who gets in the playoffs now. Obviously, as long as we've watched football, it's 6 wins and you're in. But now with the playoff points, we saw Grass Lake last year 6-3. They're a Division 6 school, but they missed the playoffs because of their strength of schedule. Being in the Cascades, playing, Homer, Vandercook, EJ, who's D8, Napoleon was D7, now they're 6. I personally, and we've said it on this show too, I'm not a fan of the points system, and I know quite a few other people aren't as well, because Lumen, for example, played a 4-5 team in the first round last year that to me had no business being in the playoffs. So I just want to get your thoughts here before we get back to a few more teams on the playoff points system And do you think eventually it'll go back to 6 wins? And I hope it does eventually.
hmm I mean, either way, I think what really I would think that might make a big difference is seeding the teams in a region as opposed to districts. I like the 16 team region seeding them 1 through 16 playoffs as opposed to the having each district, because I think that would help make those matchups better as the playoffs progress. Because like last year, Ida, an outstanding Division 6 football team, they get Lumen Christi right away in the playoffs, and obviously Lumen Christi was the state championship team last year, and so if the region was seeded like 1 through 16, that matchup may not have happened until like maybe the semifinals or at least the regional final. So I like the point system. I think that there are a lot of 4 and 5 teams that they get in, but I like to see teams rewarded for playing stronger teams outside of their conference. But the case of Grass Lake, I mean, that's just just unfortunate situation where they're in their division. I mean, they're doing everything they can, and they even beat Leslie. But playing those smaller schools really hurt them when it came to points with playoff time.
And a couple more teams here. One more in the Cascades. Let's go to Brooklyn here. Columbia Central, another team like we talked earlier about Michigan Center that really battled a lot of injuries early on in the season. Was going to have Renfro starting at quarterback last year. Got hurt. Richardson started at quarterback. Renfro will be the starter this year for Columbia, but they had both games to Napoleon. They lost by single digits, and then another game, same thing, by single digits. So, and they have experience coming back, quite a few players. Will Columbia get over that hump? I think we'll find out early. They play Napoleon week 1, which is always a great rivalry.
Yeah, for sure. And their schedules, they have kind of maybe the tough part of the schedule for the Cascades Conference. But having Renfro for a full, I mean, I think he still threw for almost 800 yards last year. So it's not like he, wasn't effective. I mean, he just missed some games due to injury. So they have a lot of skilled kids, a lot of skilled players. I'm not sure about their offense and defensive lines, like how that's going to stack up. But again, they're one of those teams that they started the season 0-3. They finished pretty strong, but just like one of those losses here and there makes all the difference. I think the Napoleon game was 46-41. So I mean, they were right there in some games that they came up on the short end of, and a couple plays here and there that could turn things around.
And then one game here, the game we'll have live on JTV Thursday night to start the year. Jackson High going to Parma to take on Western. We've been talking about it for a few weeks now. That is going to be, I think, an excellent game. Two teams, to me, with question marks coming into the year. They both have a lot of new faces. Both will have new quarterbacks, new starting running backs, some skill players. Two of the biggest schools in the Jackson area, so it's going to be a good crowd. I'm really excited to see not only that game against those two teams playing each other, but just how Jackson and Western, respectively, will do this year.
It's nice to see those, rivals like that playing right off the bat. Kind of gets both communities geared up for the football season for sure. And, speaking of that schedule, the magazine does include the JTV schedule this year. So anybody wants to pick that up, they can find that right on page 11. So, but yeah, Jackson's one of those teams from the SEC conference that as the season goes on, they're going to be playing, the likes of Chelsea and Tecumseh, Adrian. They're going to have a rugged schedule once they get into it. So starting off with Parma Western, it's a good measuring stick for them.
All right. Well, before we go here again, Overtime Plus, the high school football magazine previewing the upcoming 2025 football season. Over 50 teams all across southern and southeast Michigan, and available everywhere. As Doug mentioned, he's visited all the small towns and dropped them off everywhere. So check that out. Available for purchase. Will the magazine be available digitally?
I wanted to give it a couple weeks. on the shelves before we went to that. But I think once the season gets started, yes, we're gonna BlissfieldAdvance.com is my website, and once the season gets going, there's already been some people, they're kind of outside the area, they don't have a Lightning Quick in their community, or I've had a lot of interest from Lansing and people north of Ann Arbor that said, I want to see the magazine, even though it's there, some of those schools aren't in there. So yeah, once I think the season gets rolling, I'm going to start offering it digitally as well.
Awesome. Well, you do a great job every year, especially with several conferences and putting the programs together. But Cascades Conference Championship, that's obviously all of our guys from JTV go to on that Saturday. And you do a great job putting that together and all your coverage in the area. So looking forward to seeing you at various games throughout the season and the school year. And looking forward to another great football season. So appreciate you, Doug. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Doug Donnelly, currently the writer and man of many talents from the Blissfield Advance newspaper. So thanks to Doug, and we'll be right back here on JTV. Stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV. Thank you to Doug Donnelly for joining the show. He's been at it for a long time. Great knowledge of sports in our area.
Yeah,
so.
That was fun. Hope to have him back on soon.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe one of these weeks he can do the picks with us.
Yeah. See how he fares, because I don't think I'll be great this year, but we'll see.
Speaking of the picks, my favorite segment on the show is back. Ready to go?
No, but let's get going.
All right. Anyways, we'll start off with the longest running rivalry in the state of Michigan. Leslie against Stockbridge.
That's the longest running rivalry in the state of Michigan?
Yes, over 100 years.
Wow.
Leslie has won the last 6 in a row. Former conference rivals. Leslie, of course, coming off a historic year last year. Leslie, runaway.
Yeah, same here. I mean, we talked to Leslie at Media Days, and we watched them a lot last year. They're going to be a great team.
Just going to keep going.
Yeah, and they're great offense, good quarterbacks, so I have Leslie as well. I don't think that should be a shock to anybody.
All right, let's go to the Big 8 / Cascades. East Jackson will actually be in the Big 8 next year, but East Jackson going on the road to Quincy. East Jackson, a new development. We talked briefly about it with Doug. Only playing 3 games this year, so they're going to play Week 1 at Quincy, and they're going to play Vandercook Lake twice. Week 3 already on the schedule, and then at the end of the season. East Jackson at Quincy. Give me the Orioles of Quincy.
Yeah, thing with that is like Quincy's facing a team that's going to have 3 games all year. So
Quincy has also struggled too, but I will take Quincy.
But that's why I'm taking Quincy, and I know that going into it. But Quincy, I just think East Jackson's only playing 3 games, so it's like Quincy has kind of more to play for. I feel like, so I'm going Quincy as well.
A rematch from Week 1 of last year, and by the way, most of these games Week 1 are non-conference.
Yeah.
But a rematch of Week 1 from last year, Springport won by several possessions against Dansville, and now they host the Aggies at Spartan Stadium, Springport Spartan Stadium this year. Give me the Port to start 1-0.
I like the Port this year. I'm going to take them. It's the 3rd straight home team that we're picking in a row. We have not differed yet. We might differ somewhere else, but
we might differ next.
Yeah, but I got Springport here.
I'm smiling because the next game is Grass Lake.
Okay, let's see.
Going down M50 to Adrian to take on the Madison Trojans.
That's right.
On Treat Highway in Madison. Madison has struggled. Grass Lake had a great year last year. Obviously got robbed out of the playoffs, but they have a whole new look this year. I'm going to go against my alumni school.
Whoa, that is a shock.
I am going to take Adrian Madison at home against the Warriors.
you would think I maybe would pick the fourth straight home team.
There's
but
just sorry to
No,
interrupt.
go
There's
ahead.
just too many question marks I have
Yes.
with Grass Lake. So give me Madison.
I'm with you on those question marks, but I think Grass Lake on the road will still find a way to win. I think
All
they
right.
still have some elements to that team, so I'm going to take Grass Lake. It's our first pick that we differ in, but give me Grass Lake. Give me the Warriors.
All right, let's go to a Cascades rivalry. These two teams were rivals even before Columbia was in the Cascades, another long-running rivalry, always known for playing Week 1. Napoleon going to Brooklyn to take on the Columbia Central Golden Eagles. They played twice last year. Napoleon won both games in Week 2 and Week 9 by single digits. We talked about that a lot. Columbia had an okay year, but they battled some injuries here and there. And they just couldn't get over the hump and finish games. Give me the Pirates on the road at Brooklyn.
So for me, I'm with you. I am going to take Napoleon, but I will say this. I think Columbia Central has a much better year this year. Shout out to all my boys at Columbia Central. But I got to take Napoleon here.
You have boys at Columbia?
Oh, of course. But I think Napoleon's going to be one of the best teams this year. So I got to take Napoleon. I will say this. If we weren't doing the game we were doing, this would probably be the one I'd want to see. So that being said, I think it has a really good opportunity of being close, but I think Napoleon barely gets the win.
That or another game we have coming up here.
I know which one you're talking about. I agree. It'd be in the running.
And of course, Napoleon completely switched their look and their style coming into last year. They switched to the full house, and I love that, obviously.
And they had such a good end of the year that I feel like if they kind of ride that momentum, similar to the Detroit Tigers riding the momentum from the end of last season, I think if they do something similar, you're going to see a really good Napoleon team for the rest of the year.
All right, let's go to another rivalry. Hillsdale going right down the road. M99, I think.
Man, he's shouting out all the highways.
I'm probably wrong. Hillsdale at Jonesville. Hillsdale winless last year, struggled the last few years. I think Jonesville wins the Cascades West. Give me the Comets at home.
I feel the same way. I've always had a soft spot for Jonesville. I love the way that they play. And I love their stadium too. Very underrated, small but an awesome venue. And they're very nice there.
That's the true high school football feeling.
And they're very nice there. They
Yes.
offered a soup on a real cold, rainy night. The game against Michigan Center, which is still probably my favorite game that we've ever
It was
covered.
like 8-6.
Oh,
or
it was
something.
crazy, but it was
the score was horrible.
yeah, but it was like Michigan Center in all whites, and it was like so much mud all over the place. Nobody had white jerseys by the end of it. But yeah, I got Jonesville. I think they'll be one of the best teams in the area, so I got to take them.
Speaking of Michigan Center, the game I just brought up a minute ago, this is probably my second favorite game on the schedule besides our live game. We'll get to that. Onstead at Michigan Center. Onstead had a good year last year at a Division 6. Center also in Division 6. Center really battled a lot of injuries last year. Couldn't get it going from there. More injuries piled up at the end of the year. This is going to be a great game at Center. Give me Onstead.
Oh, what?
On the road,
expect that at
upsetting Michigan Center.
Wow. Cool. We differ in another one because I'm taking Michigan Center in this one. I think the Cardinals will play a lot better this year. We've talked about it. We talked with head coach, and we talked with a lot of people about what Michigan Center had to go through last year. I think they're going to show how good of a team they are early this year, and I think that they'll kind of glide through the conference. So I think they're going to be very good. Give me Michigan Center. I'm taking the Cardinals.
All right, let's go to a battle in Division 8. Sand Creek from Lenawee County.
Sand Creek.
Yep. Coming up to play the Jayhawks of Vandercook Lake. Give me Sand Creek.
Yeah.
Give me the Aggies.
Same here. Out of all the games, I'd probably say maybe I know the least about the team that I'm picking by picking Sand Creek. But
I like your honesty.
But I got to be honest. But I'm gonna still take them. I'm just gonna go with the favorite in this one, even though they're on the road.
The Northwest Mounties are also on the road for Week 1. They go up to Kalamazoo to play Loy Norix. Loy Norix had a really good offense last year, scored a bunch of points, and they got some key guys coming back. Give me Loy Norix.
I have to take Loy Norix, but I will say that I think Northwest is going to have some sneaky wins this year, but this one's not going to be the one. So I'm going to take Loy Norix, Kalamazoo.
In 8-man action, the Yellow Jackets of Concord going right down the road to take on Litchfield. Litchfield, this was a rematch from week 1 of last year. Concord's won by 44 at their place and scored 64 points. Yellow Jackets will roll.
That's what I was going to say. I know this is on the road and this is a different year, but I think that score is going to be pretty similar to what it is in this one. So I'm going to take Concord. I think that they kind of roll over them.
And Concord's has a lot of guys coming back.
Yep.
But didn't really have much varsity experience last year. And they've got a big freshman, sophomore class coming up
and
as
they got
well.
some good athletes on that team, so I got to take
All-state quarterback from last year. Lumen Christi, this is going to be... We've talked about their gauntlet of the schedule.
What a test.
Talk about a test.
Yep.
Right here.
Nothing much bigger than that.
On Friday at 7:30, time change, though, in Chicago, so it'll be 8:30 here.
Yep.
Lumen Christi going to Chicago to take on Lombard Montini Catholic out of the state of Illinois. Montini, the defending Illinois state champion. And their quarterback, I forget his name, I apologize, but their quarterback going into his junior year, already over a dozen Division I offers. I've watched his highlights. Me and Andy did.
Pretty nasty.
Ridiculous.
No, I bet.
Especially on the deep ball.
Yep.
Give me Montini at home against Lumen. Lumen's got a lot of new starters, only one offensive lineman coming back with a new quarterback, new running back, and new receiver. Give me Montini.
I hate picking a Michigan-based team going to a different state and saying that they're going to lose in any sport.
Oh, I don't care.
I do.
I'm picking the winners.
I hate doing it here, but I have to take Montini Catholic. It's just, there's too many question marks for Lumen. I think this is probably, since we've been doing picks, this is one of the first times that we've probably both picked against Lumen at the same time, but because it doesn't happen often, but it's too many question marks. If they did escape with a win, I'd be shocked, but I also wouldn't be shocked. But they got to deal with travel, brand new team, all these different things. So I have to take Montini Catholic here.
And our final high school game, the one we have been looking forward to the most. Live on JTV, Jackson going down Michigan Ave to Parma to take on the Western Panthers. 2022, first round of the playoffs. Remember that controversial ending, depending on what school you're rooting for. 26-25, Jackson won at Withington. And we'll get this rematch. Two of the biggest schools in our area. Going to be a good crowd. Both teams really with a question mark coming in. We really don't know what these two teams are going to do. We're going to find out right away. I am going to take the home team. I will take the Western Panthers to start 1-0.
I have bounced back and forth constantly with this game in my mind, thinking of who's going to win. I think if we had to relate this to a college game, I think this is reminiscent of like LSU Clemson. That's like a very close game that, I don't know fully what either team is going to do. I will take Parma, but I will say this. If you were handicapping this game, it'd be like a 3-point game. It's going to be very close. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Of all these games, there's no doubt about it. This is the one I want to be watching this week. So to be there for it, it's going to be pretty cool to do the live stream. But I got to take Western here.
We're excited for it. Season 26 on JTV. Thanks to all of our sponsors, our new sponsors this year. College Chevrolet pregame show.
Big
Grimes
sponsor for
Plumbing
us.
postgame.
Oh,
Looking forward to that. So watch for the truck if you're going out to Parma and the production trailer.
And, we have some improvements that you're going to be clearly seeing a brand new scoreboard, different elements that are
new visuals.
It looks awesome.
New
a lot
audio.
of work from everybody. Yeah. And we're going to have Austin on, I believe, next Wednesday. He'll be here so we can kind of talk about some of those things and kind of show off some of the new broadcast elements that we have. But, man, I'm excited for the start of the season. It's going to look great. It's going to sound great. New audio as well. So we've kind of gone all out on this one.
Really looking forward to it. And if you see the production units,
give it a couple honks, horn honks.
Yeah. Wave at us.
Yeah.
Come say hi to us.
Yeah.
It's not like we're famous people.
Yeah, and
we're just regular dudes.
If you see us out there and you want to take a peek at it, I mean, come on, it's really cool on the inside. So as long as we're not broadcasting, we'll let you take a look at it.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to college football. On Friday, the Broncos of Western Michigan going to East Lansing. Give me Sparty big over Western.
The fact that you said that Andy was picking Western in this game
Is dumb.
blows my mind. That being said, I will take No, I'm joking. Of course. I mean, you got to take
So
Michigan
don't
State.
screw that one
No,
up.
no, I'm not going to lose easy points there. Got to take Michigan State. Got to take the Spartans. It's just different class of team there. So it's going to be a blowout.
Regardless of
similar to
how
another
bad Michigan State is,
Yeah.
it's Western.
It's going to be a blowout similar to another game on this list, actually, the last game that we talk about.
The biggest game in college football. Number
Man, this is insane.
1, Texas. Arch Manning going to the Horseshoe to take on the team from Ohio.
Yep.
In a rematch from the national championship. Ohio State starting a true freshman quarterback. Give me Arch Manning. Hook 'em, Longhorns.
Wow. Before we did our picks, we talked a little bit outside about kind of who we're doing.
Oh, no.
And I told you I was going to be taking the team down south.
Oh, no.
But I
Oh,
lied.
okay. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I can't pick against a Manning. So that will happen through most of this year. I can't pick against him. I think he's going to be, when it's all said and done, he will be a New Orleans Saints quarterback. And I'm going to say it right now in front of everybody that he will be a future Hall of Famer. I'm taking the Texas Longhorns. I believe in Manning.
You're calling all that
I'm calling it.
right now.
I'm calling it all right now. I can't wait to go back to this podcast in like 3 or 4 years and people be like, you thought that guy was good. But no, he is.
idiot.
He is going to be a future Hall of Famer, so I'm going to take Manning.
Another interesting game. It'll be a good game, but it'll be interesting.
I don't know what happens here.
I don't either. Both these teams have been talked about a lot, especially Clemson. Clemson, number 4, hosting Brian Kelly,
Yep.
your favorite,
Oh, my favorite.
and LSU. In the Battle of the Tigers, give me the Orange Tigers, Clemson.
I'm going to take Clemson. I was hoping you were going to take LSU because I wanted to see if we could differ in this one, but I just can't in good conscience
We'll
take
differ
LSU.
on the next game.
Oh,
No.
dude. But I will take Clemson. This is like we discussed with the Jackson Western game. It's going to be like a 3-point game, I feel like, by the end of it. It's going to be very close. I give the edge to the home team just like I did in that game. I'm going to take Clemson here. But it's so close.
And our final game.
Do we even have to talk about what we think about this game? I mean, I know what's going to happen, but
No,
okay.
it's just going to give it a little bit
Yeah,
of
that's fine. That's fine.
hype here.
Yeah.
Our final game here on the picks, the Big House. Bryce Underwood
Yep.
debuting. Will the $12 million pay off against New Mexico?
He looks pretty good, man. I think it will.
I think so. Michigan by a mile, by 2 miles.
Yeah.
NBC and Peacock.
It's they're going to be warming up the buses for New Mexico at the end of the first quarter. I'm calling that.
I
right
just
now.
renewed my Peacock subscription because the
expensive.
NBA is back on NBC
That's
this
right.
year, and so is college football.
Yep.
And then NBC could also be getting MLB games.
Ooh, interesting.
I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
More details on that next week.
I do know that WWE is wrapping up their thing with Peacock, so I thought I was going to be canceling it because they're going over to different services like ESPN and stuff like that.
Sunday night
but-
football on NBC, and then Sunday night basketball, and then Sunday night baseball
I
on
swear,
NBC.
they got me. They're going to make me stay subscribed. I mean, that's the thing. You have a streaming service, and if it's going to have sports on it, that's really, to me, the big driving force of keeping it. Because, like, NFL as an example, I'm not going to miss out on Sunday Night Football. I love Sunday Night Football, so it's like I have to keep it at least throughout the season. I'll probably watch a few NBA games here and there just to see how that broadcast goes. But all that being said, get back to the topic at hand. Michigan's just going to destroy this team. So warm up the buses when they arrive. Don't even turn them off. Keep them running when you stop off at the Big House. I got Michigan, like what you said, by 2, maybe 3 miles.
Yep. I'm not sure if I'm going yet.
No kidding.
I'm not sure.
I mean, you could stay at home and because it'll be over at the end of the first quarter, so you could stay at home and just.
Well, I have a golf outing. Early,
fun!
Early Sunday morning.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough if you were to go to Ann Arbor and come back. It's funny. It's like I thought
That's
about
what
this.
I am worried about.
Well, I thought about this too. Like, I would love to go, but part of me is just like, man, dealing with the crowd, dealing with the traffic, dealing with all that stuff, parking and all that. It's just like sometimes it's just like, man, it's just not worth it.
We've been to a
like.
couple games
Yeah.
with Noah and
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's just I have tons of fun, but it's like going to multiple.
The
specifically
traffic
going
really-
to multiples a year is hard.
And maybe it's just me saying this because I've been almost every home game since I was like that tall.
Yeah.
But the traffic to me isn't as bad as other stadiums. It's really not. It just all depends on where you park.
Yeah.
If you park at Pioneer,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. If you park in the back at Pioneer towards like the tennis courts,
Yeah.
then you're screwed.
Yeah.
If you park at the golf course, it's fine because there's only one out entrance for
Yeah.
everybody to go in. So it
just
two.
sucks
It
'cause
makes it
it's
easy,
like-
and it's all one way on the road.
There's 100,000 people there. There is $50 parking, $40, $50 parking. It's
Or
just
more.
Yeah, or more. It's a lot going on down there, and I really like until like a few years ago, I'd never gone to the Big House. I'd never gone to a game there, so it was like one of those things where it's like I get used to. I'm used to going down to
You're gonna
Detroit
spend
for
$14 on a beer at the
that.
Big House.
Oh my goodness! I did watch. I don't remember what YouTube channel it was, but they did like a kind of a documentary style video about what it takes to go through all the food and everything, get that all prepped for game day at the Big House.
Yes,
Super interesting
I
video.
know what I have.
Yeah,
seen that
I watched
video
that last
before.
night, and it was like it's insane.
Especially
how much they have to go
like the
through.
club and the VIP suites
They have
and
to do-
some of the food they
Oh,
get.
and then they have one service elevator in the building, so it's just constantly being used, going back and forth between the different levels.
Can you imagine
it's
all that
insane.
food and all the people and drinks?
Oh,
one elevator.
Crazy. But yeah, definitely look out for that video on YouTube because it's interesting to see what it goes into setting up that game for game day.
All right, enough of our elevator talk.
Yeah, we got there, but
When we come back, I thought I had a backside on this page,
I
and
must
I
be
did.
the only one. Oh, there you
But I
go.
didn't.
Oh,
Anyways, when we come back, we'll recap a couple more other high school sports. Somebody reached 2,000 career assists in
whoa!
volleyball.
Wow.
I'll tell you about that.
Sure.
And we'll wrap up, so stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. We'll see how our picks do. We only differ on a couple of games.
Yeah, but those add up. By the end of the year, those add up. So we might see some upsets. I hope I can win again, but we'll see.
We'll see. Real quick, high school volleyball. Congrats to Brady Lehman Jr. for Concord. 2,000 career assists. Surpassed that Tuesday night in the tri-meet with Lumen and Concord at Hanover. So congratulations to Brady Lehman and Concord. Boys tennis, Lumen Christie now ranked in the top 3 in the state for Division 4 in boys tennis as well. So shout out to the Titans. And I feel pretty good about my fantasy football team. We just had our JTV draft earlier this week.
We did, and I have the best team. There's no doubt in my mind. I have the best team. Kyler Murray, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Metcalf, Pickens,
Kyler Murray's overrated.
Kittle. No, Amari and Hampton, Derrick Henry. My running backs are elite. I have the best running back core easily out of anybody in our league.
Kneecap soup.
Kneecap.
Coming for everybody.
Yep, that's right. Hey, I changed my name. We're the Ford Field of Dreams. Got to keep the movie theme because last year I was the golf father, but we didn't do too well. We were third place, but this year Ford Field of Dreams.
That's because it was
is
too
going
old
all
of
the
a
way.
movie.
No, how dare you? Ford Field of Dreams going all the way. My team is just absolutely elite.
Well, I would have taken the Packers defense if we would have signed Micah Parsons already,
Hey.
but if we still do,
They might still be available. You might be able to take them if you guys sign them. I don't see it happening, but
like Adam Schefter hasn't said anything about it yet,
yeah.
and neither has NFL Network. But some other sources and the latest, because there's a rumor that changes about
Of
this whole
course.
saga
Yep.
every day. But the latest rumor, Green Bay has something on the table for Dallas to take. $45 million a year for Micah in Green Bay. Wouldn't
Crazy.
that be something?
That is crazy.
I'll take back everything I said about our GM if that happens.
Of course you will. I don't see it happening.
All right, well, thank you, the Insurance Circle Agency. We're live at 6:45 Thursday night. Thursday, remember, not Friday.
Thursday. Tomorrow.
That's Adam. I'm David. Good luck to Jay High. Good luck to Western. Good luck to all the players and teams throughout our sports. So we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.